Hello crafters, welcome back to Crafty All Sorts. I'm Sue Bayliss and today I have a money saving project that you're going to love. I'm going to show you 5 different ways on how to make beautiful and unique ink sprays, and the best bit is you probably already have the supplies to create some straight after this video. And if you watch this video till the end, I've got 2 extra ways to transform the sprays that you've made into something even better. So for this project you'll need some surface protection. This is just a puppy pad. Some gloves if you're worried about inky fingers, even though mine are already inky underneath. Some empty spray bottles, new ones or used ones. Some water. Some labels, and I will be giving you a free download to these labels in the description underneath. A Sharpie and some clear sellotape or packing tape, and I will give you any other ingredients as we go. For the first way of making ink sprays, I'm just going to use some watercolours, and I know most people have probably already got watercolours, so use whatever you have. Put some water in your empty bottles. I'm only going to a little bit too much there. I'm only going to fill them about 3/4 of the way up. And the next thing I'm going to do is put some watercolours in. So I need some brown. So this one, I'm going to add some brown, a little squirt. I'm going to put my thumb over the end and just give it a good shake. Put the spray lid on. And test out your spray. I'd like this a little bit darker, so I'm going to add a little bit more paint. So let's try this. Give it a wipe off. First bit of spray will be the diluted one, so it takes a little while. And here we can see the final colour coming through, and I'm quite happy with that. I like that colour. The next one I'm going to do is I want to make a dark green. So I've got some blue paint here and some yellow. I'll add a little bit of blue. Go easier on the blue because blue is usually a lot stronger. Let's give this a shake. Now that's a bit too yellowy for me. I want it to be a bit darker, so I'm going to add a little bit more blue. And that's a bit too blue, so a little bit more green, a little bit more yellow. And it really is just experimenting until you get a colour that you like. And I quite like this colour, so let's give it a spray, see how it turns out. Oh yeah, like that colour there. I try to keep my supplies organised, so I'm going to cut out some of these labels, and I'm going to just dip a brush into the ink that I've made and put some on the label, and this will mean that I'll know what the colours are. And I'm going to let these labels dry, and I'm going to use some wide sellotape to cover the label and to attach it onto the bottle. Now if you already have labels, sticky labels, then you can do it straight from sticky labels, but I thought I'd do it this way for people who don't have sticky labels. And then we'll do the next one. Also, if you only have narrow sellotape, just put 2 or 3 strips of it until it fills. So now you've got your first 2 ink sprays made from watercolours. Number 2 method. This method is using re-inkers. Now I've got a couple of distress re-inkers here, but it doesn't have to be distress re-inkers. You can use any that you own. So I want a light yellowy green this time. So I'll put a Try with a couple of squirts. And we'll try out these colours, see what they look like. A little bit too light. So I'd like to put another little bit in. Maybe still a little bit light, so I might put another drop of re-inker in. If you're using darker re-inkers, you'll find that you won't need as much, but because this is quite a light colour anyway, it needs a bit more. Yeah, quite happy with that one. And the next one I want to make is a Dusty Concord, so it's a purpley colour. Put 3 squirts of that one, see how that turns out. Oh, and I like that colour as it is, so I'll leave that one. And I'm going to attach the labels. You might find it easier to do all your labels at the same time and then cut them out afterwards. Just remember which label goes to which ink. The third way is to use an ink refill. If you can buy ink refill kits quite cheaply, and they last for absolutely ages. I've probably had these a good 10 years and I use them for other things. So with this, I'm going to make a magenta colour. So I'm just going to use this as it is. Oh yes, I like that colour. The other colour I want to use is cyan, which is a blue. Again, I'm just going to do this neat and just use the colours as they are. But all of these colours can be mixed together and made into different colours. So for instance, if you got some water and you mix the blue, the cyan and the magenta, you would end up with a nice purple. The fourth way is by using food colours. Now these are both powdered food colours, but you can use any food colours, gel ones or anything you have. Give it a try. I'm going to use a red, and I'm going to do an orange. And even when you mix your sprays, you can always mix 2 or 3 sprays together to get different results. It's just experimenting. Sorry, I said orange, but this is actually yellow, not orange. Oh, lovely yellow. I'll put the labels on these. And the fifth way is using acrylic paints. I must admit, I don't really use this way very much, as I find that they tend to block up a little bit more, but it does work. And that's that one. And the next colour I'm going to do is a Prussian blue hue. I always keep my old sprayers. If you have sprayers and you find that they're blocked, just put them in a bowl of hot water overnight and you'll normally find that by the next day, with a few squeezes and shakes, that you can get them working again, and then just put them in with your sprays that you keep for future. And I'm quite happy with that colour as well, so I'm going to put the labels on. Now this point I've decided that this ink spray is too similar to the one that I made before. So I'm going to change this slightly and to make it a little bit more purpley. So I'm going to add a little bit of blue. I'm not going to add too much because blue is quite strong. And I'm giving up on the gloves. Try this out. Yeah, quite happy with that there. And I shall label them. These are my ink sprays finished, and what I've done, I've swatched them onto this piece of paper. This is available for you to download for free, so if you want to download it you can, and obviously you can use it for other things as well, markers or pencils. So these two here are the ones that I use with watercolours, so these are the two colours. These ones here are the distress inks. These are the food colouring, these are the re-inkers, and these ones are the acrylic paint. And I'm going to label them all. So I'm going to give them names, just basic names. So this one I'm going to just call brown. Now you can write on the label before you put the sellotape on, but I want to remember how I made this. So because I did these with watercolours, I'm just going to put WC on the end and WC on this so I know what it is, and I'll do this with all of them and then I'll come back. These are all the ink sprays finished and named, and at the beginning I did promise you 2 extra ways to transform the sprays you've made into something better, so let's do that now. I'm going to use the magenta and the cyan, which were made with the printer refill inks. And the first thing I'm going to do is use some mica powder. So I'll mix it with the pink one, I think. So just take your lid off, put some mica powder in. Obviously the more you put in, the more sparkly it will be. And again, use your thumb to just mix it in. Now with this spray, you can use it on white or black. You have to make sure you give it a good shake before you use it. So this is it on white. Sorry, I've got to let the mica come out first. So that's the mica, and this is it on black. Now the problem with mica is a lot of micas don't have anything to set them, so you could find that the mica rubs off as it dries. So what I tend to do is put a little bit of gum arabic solution in, and that just almost sticks it to the paper. Now you can also use hairspray, so you could just give a little bit of a spray of some hairspray in there, which will do the same job. So I'm just going to mix just a little bit in, doesn't have to be a lot. Give it a shake. It's better to shake it round and round, because if you do it up and down you could find that the mica can block the tube. So it won't look much different, it will look pretty much the same. And we're going to let those two dry. At the first spray I just used a silver mica. With the blue I'm going to actually use a blue mica, and the colour that the mica is will show the difference in the colour when it dries. The spray will show up as a different colour, and you can already see this is becoming silvery with the silver mica. So this is the blue mica. I'll put the gum arabic in here. You can just spray little bits and it does look quite nice. We'll let those dry. Now I don't know if you can see, hopefully you can see the shine where the mica sprays are, and this is on the black. So the colour of the sprays themselves don't really show up very much on black. As you can see, they show up, the mica shows up more, but the colour of the spray itself doesn't really show up. So depending on what colour mica you have in the spray, that's the colour it will come out in black. And the last transformation, I'm going to use yellow. Now, if we spray this yellow here, we can see it quite well. If we spray it on black, it doesn't really show up much. I'm going to let that dry, but you won't really see very much. Now, if you get your spray and you put some white acrylic in it, gouache actually works better, but for some reason I seem to have lost my gouache. So squirt a little bit of white acrylic in there, give it a good shake. So you should find that now when you spray it on black, the yellow should show up a little bit more. So that's the plain yellow before the white acrylic, and this is the yellow with the acrylic added. As I said, if you put gouache in, it's much better, but my gouache seems to have gone missing. And just to show you how nicely these sprays work, to dry this off a bit, and you can just use a stencil over the top. Few white acrylic circles, different sizes, and you've got a nice mixed media page to use with other things. And there you have it, crafters, a fun and creative crafting project that you can easily recreate at home. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and feel inspired to get crafty. Please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe for more crafting ideas and inspiration. Until next time, happy crafting.